I even saw this today. A study came out that gardening, which we're talking about, reduce cancer risk, chronic disease, and improve mental health, which makes total sense to me. Because again, when you're gardening, you're outside, you got your hands in Mother Earth, you're getting microbiomes in there that are good for you. Everything leads into this cascade, and you got great food supply.
Yeah.
But it does lead me into this idea of what you talk about, and it's a new book I know you're working on, Fatal Conveniences. Convenience is what it is. We've traded health, empowerment, all these words, right, for convenience. And we've done it somewhat willingly. I don't think there are people out there anymore that say, oh, I didn't know that was bad for me.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that we're just in a state where health doesn't really matter to us anymore? Like, I think about this. I tell people all the time, you talk about sunscreen, and I say, don't use spray oxybenzone. That is a known carcinogen, endocrine disruptor. It's terrible for you. In every way, shape, or form, you could look this up. You cannot deny it. I mean, these are published reports on it. And they still use it. I mean, what is that, Darin? Like, where are we going wrong with that? How do we get in touch with those people? Because it seems it's like health just doesn't matter. Or are they going to say, well, there's a pill for that somewhere, so I'd rather deal with the convenience, deal with the pill, send it down the road, and deal with cancer when I'm 70?
It's an amazing question, and I don't have an answer for it.
Right.
I know that that. In the one hand, they don't want to believe you that is true. Which is why, I now finished the book after a year and a half, and being inspired by my father in the 90s he had chemical sensitivity. That there is an apathy. I'm using this word again. There's an apathy to, if I go to a store or a grocery store, that anything there can't possibly harm me, right? Why would they sell that? There's regulatory systems in place. There's the FDA, there's the USDA, there's the FCC, there's the EPA. All of these and so many quote unquote regulatory bodies, they got our back. They're protecting us. Our government's protecting us. We, in some way, we want to believe that. We really do. I really want to believe that, but I'm staring at the research. I'm staring, just like you said, the oxybenzoines and all of these things. I mean, you're staring at this stuff going, oh my God, this is a known carcinogen, and yet it's still allowed in products, still allowed in children's products, still allowed in all of these things. So your compromised immune system, your neutering of your own body and your children and everything else, all of these things, it's an invisible, slow killer that, believe me, it's everywhere. Personal care and beauty products and clothing and electromagnetic fields. I mean, the research around EMFs is exactly as if it was a chemical. Like, these things are just, so, I mean, the best thing I can do is try to educate in a common sense kind of way. When you lay it out there, you're going, okay, if you take this dental floss that conveniently slips between your teeth, well, that convenient slip is a cousin of Teflon called PFAS, and it is good at its job. You don't slam your gums or cut your gums because it's that convenient little slip, but it's a known carcinogenic to your kidneys, published, right?
Yep.
So we reach for that product. It's a product that works, but we somehow, and listen, this should be shouted from every mainstream media. Like, hey, you have a choice to buy this product. For some reason, it's still on the market, but it's gonna help sprint you towards cancer. Probably not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
So, we have 60 to 80,000 toxins and chemicals put in our environment every year. 200 chemicals, most of which are carcinogenic, in the umbilical cord of every child born today. And numbers are only increasing. So, the best, to answer your question, the best thing I can do is that I perceive I can do at this moment is kind of lay it out. Here's what's going on. Here's where they failed. And this is what you can do about it. Stay away from this and do this instead. Right. So it's not that I'm trying to take conveniences away. Mm-hmm. I'm just really trying to steer people towards healthier products that are tested, and you can still use dental floss. You can still brush your teeth. You can still shampoo your hair. It's just don't use these known harmful chemicals in the process. Unfortunately, the big boys and these big companies, still have this these games going on with this stuff. And that's part of what I'm just trying again to kind of shake people just a little bit, to kind of wake out of the zombie mode of thinking that everything's fine when it really isn't. So I think the invisible world of these chemicals are one of the biggest dangers that we face, because it's a slow destruction of our bodies and of society.
And I feel also, because it is that slow destruction, it's the boiling of the frog slowly until you don't, realize that you're there in a completely diseased state, that you can't truly attribute one-to-one, right? You can't attribute what you're eating right now with GMO sprayed with pesticides and say, tomorrow I got cancer. Oh, I know that. I had this, I had cancer. It's over years. And you have this powerful, lobbyists and these incredibly large companies now that are across the globe forcing hands of even the government. And like you said, if you look back on the track record of FDA between Vioxx and Oxycontin, so many things they got wrong. Yeah. Others they don't even talk about and have been slid under. You'd be able to say, hey, this isn't a winning formula. If you go to a financial analyst and they're losing you money year after year, you should probably, stop trusting their word. But we still do. And it's unfortunate.